Hey guys, another video, another horrible microphone. Kai Draws here, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I hope you decide to stick around, and let's get into this video. Last week on Instagram, I asked you guys if you'd rather have a video explaining my process while drawing, or if you'd like to see a video on how my first semester of art school has been. The winner was art school. Don't worry though, I think in the future I'm going to be doing a video or some sort of tutorial on my drawing process, especially since art school has helped to boost my confidence as an artist quite a bit. Anyway, art school. Honestly, it's like 50% what I expected and 50% not what I expected. I'll walk you guys through some of my expectations, my classes, and share some quick tips I've learned in some of my classes. Hopefully, if any of you guys are aspiring artists, these will help you too. What I expected from art school was a lot of drawing, a lot of unique people, and a lot of creative freedom. I basically got all of that, maybe a little too much creative freedom if I'm being honest. The one thing that I'm most surprised about though is most of the faculty here is actually okay with drawing and submitting assignments in an anime style, which is just crazy to me. Especially since these days you hear a lot of artists making videos complaining about how their teachers don't really like the stylized workflow, which is just crazy to me. Especially since these days you see a lot of artist YouTubers making videos complaining about how their teachers never really accepted anime or that kind of stylized work. But how it goes in my school, so long as you're making an effort in class and exploring different styles, the teachers are okay with having a bit of anime for more personal projects, which is pretty cool. I was especially worried about this since my school is more based towards fine arts than it is visual development, so I was kind of scared the school would be too focused on Renaissance and neoclassicism styles of painting. Luckily, regardless of the school being more fine arts based, it's slowly transitioning to viz dev culture and gaming and more modern filmmaking, which makes students like me very happy. And the creative freedom, oh my gosh. I knew art school encourages pushing the bounds, but this is just next level crazy. A student decided they wanted to print an art piece on a trash bag. A trash bag. Who would ever think to print their art on a trash bag, much less allow it in a professional printing space? Generally, art school is what you expect it to be. Mostly art, some liberal arts like English, science, / math classes, etc., and a lot of unique people and ideas. As for my classes, I think my top two favorite classes are 2D design and basic drawing. I don't think 2D would be up there if it weren't for the teacher because she is such a talented artist with a vast knowledge on acrylic and oil painting. A lot of the techniques she's talked about with those analog painting techniques pass over to my digital work, and it's so cool. I feel like I've technically, as in skills in art, I've learned the most from my basic drawing and 2D teachers. And before I continue here, I just want to point out that rather than calling traditional art, I'll be referring to it as analog art. It's just something that my teachers are trying to, get us to do. Maybe I'll explain that sometime later. Anyway, for all of my studio classes, with the exception of 3D design, I'll get into that one later. We've been using all analog materials to create our art, which was hell for me. I'm not gonna lie, I've been drawing pure digital since my sophomore year of high school, and before that, the only experience I had with any sort of paint or physical drawing tool was done in a 7th grade art class that I didn't really like. I didn't engage in it. The only thing I picked up from that class was how to draw a pretty damn good box from a single angle perspective. And of course, my sketchbook, but my sketchbook wasn't anything I took seriously or religiously drew in. It was more so I'd copy from other artists in there or draw flowers I took pictures of, just casual use. But these teachers have taught me a lot. I think my new favorite medium outside of the digital realm is actually charcoal, just because we've done so much with it so far. It has such a beautiful effect, and you can reach so much more depth and a wider value scale than you can with graphite. Basic drawing has really taught me the importance of loosening up and, stop focusing so much on perfection of the first draft. And it's taught me to keep in mind that nothing is cement. Nothing is in stone when it comes to art. If I mess up a drawing, I can go back and fix it. It isn't impossible. And that's a mindset I've had with a lot of my pieces. That mindset where I have to follow the sketch exactly as it is. That's not how it works. If you get further into a drawing and something looks funky, don't be afraid to fix it. Your sketch isn't final. As for my 2D class, this class has taught me a lot about the composition of a piece. Even though this class is more abstract and pattern-based, it has made me realize just how important things like the golden ratio and other compositional rules are important, and why it's really important to think about how different objects, shapes, and colors will interact in a given space. As for 3D design, this class has taught me a lot about how to tweak your mind to do what you want to do with a project you really don't like. I think out of all of my classes, this one has given me the most mental strength, which I know sounds funky. It's just because this class is not one of my favorites because of how unconventional it is. Just to give you guys an idea, one of our projects was we had to make an entire outfit out of cardboard, and right now we're working on designing packaging using cardboard, and right now I just really fucking hate cardboard as a material. Regardless though, this class has been very, very useful in terms of teaching me how to stretch my limits and incorporate my want to be a concept artist into different projects. For example, with the cardboard couture project, that project that we made our cardboard outfits, I ended up drawing about 6 different designs just for the hell of it and so I could practice my concepts in costume designing. I did something similar for the packaging project that I'm working on right now, and I was even able to mess around a little with photo bashing. So even if the class does seem like a drag sometimes, I know I'm still getting something out of the class, even if it's, like, little things. Then my other 3 classes, I don't really think I need to talk about them. One is an English class, the other is an art history, and the last is basically equivalent to high school homeroom, so they aren't really relevant. That brings us to artist quick tips. I can go into depth on any of these topics, so if you'd like me to, please comment below. I wouldn't mind making videos on these in the future, just typing up a quick response for you. So tip number 1, always keep an open mind. One of my biggest problems before I came here wasn't necessarily that I had a closed mind, but I definitely wasn't as open as I should have been. In my own opinion, artists should be open to criticism, not saying from like random people on the web who are just gonna say, you know, like, your art's bad. That isn't real criticism. But like at least asking for it from friends or family. And artists should be open to experiment. I realized a big part of the reason I felt my art to be lackluster is because I don't experiment. I don't sketch for fun. I don't let myself make stories that I want to make. I just sketch, paint, post, repeat. So make sure you make time to let yourself experiment. Like this rose piece, huge experiment for me. Usually my art has a very like plasticky, buttery feel, and I wanted to try to incorporate some more painterly techniques to it. So I focused more on not using airbrush and my mixer brush, and you know, just using my airdrop tool to like really blend out the colors, and I think it really made a nice effect. So yeah, experiment, you know, keep that open mind and be open to try new things. So this rolls right into tip number 2 then, don't be a perfectionist. One thing that I've been told by multiple members of faculty here is 1, I focus too much on the small details, and 2, a lot of my work has a plasticky, buttery feel to it. Which, honestly, like I said before, they're not wrong. So I've taken it upon myself to study the sketch and paint process of many artists I look up to, and I noticed something. They don't get rid of their entire sketch layer. They will erase some parts of the sketch and integrate other parts of it into certain areas that they feel fits or enhances the drawing in some way. Just like a personal preference kind of a thing. So don't feel like you need to get rid of that sketch or that you can't paint over it. You can. Most people do it. Keeping that part of your creative process can actually make your drawing look a little more believable, and I didn't really realize that until I really paid attention to what other artists were doing and actually paid attention to what my teachers were telling me. Tip number 3, always look for opportunity. For me, my opportunities are networking and figuring out how I can use concept art and biz dev skills in the art that I have to make for my assignments. Everything is an opportunity to learn something that will help you in your creative career or give you a boost. So, like right now, if you're in high school or middle school and your art class feels super boring or repetitive, remember, be a sponge. Absorb all the information you can and apply it to your personal work. And don't forget to work on your personal projects. Those are opportunities to learn too. In fact, I think that they might be the best opportunity to learn because that's when you can really get experimental. There's no prompt that you have to follow. There's no certain style of painting that your teacher wants you to paint, and you can do whatever you want. And that's experimenting is how you learn. I mean, it's how we created so much technology and stuff, is just by screwing around with things. So don't be afraid to screw around. Anyway, guys, I hope this video helped you guys out a little, whether you're trying to figure out if you want to be an art student or if you just wanted some quick tips for drawing. And so, just wanted to give a quick announcement, but I'm turning 18 on November 9th. I am still baby. I'm not an adult yet. I'm gonna hang on to that for as long as I can. But if you guys wanna, gonna be announcing some events here pretty soon for that. So make sure you're following me on Instagram if you want to keep up with it. And yeah, I think that's about it. So I hope you guys all have a good weekend and stay artsy.